Just how good is a bottle of bourbon that survived the tornado? Let's find out. What is going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing you guys a brand new video. Today, we are going to be going over a bottle of bourbon that is absolutely monumental and historic in my humblest opinion. Today, we are going to be reviewing a bottle of Blue Note Juke Joint whiskey that came from a barrel that survived the tornado that took down one of their rick houses. Now, if you guys are unaware about the tornado barrels, a few years back, a tornado came through and took down a rick house that was supporting some barrels of bourbon that were holding Blue Note juice. And well, it took a couple of months for them to go and recover those barrels, and what the elements of the world did to these barrels is something that was spectacular. It turned this bottle of bourbon that is actually really delicious into something that is mind-blowing, something that will change your taste buds forever. I've had one other bottle of Blue Note that has been from the tornado warehouse, and this one right here is another one. This is a bottle that was from the Bourbon Street Wine and Spirits in New Jersey. This one is coming in at 124 proof. Now, if you guys are wondering how you can find out if you have a tornado barrel, 99% of the time, your local liquor store where you bought that bottle of Blue Note will be told that that barrel that they picked or that they had a sample of from was from the tornado, because they are all labeled with the barrel number on there and they will know what one they sent them. Before we get pouring and before we get nosing and tasting, make sure you guys drop that like, leave a comment down below on if you like Blue Note and if you've had a bottle from the tornado catastrophe. And if you're brand new, make sure you smash that subscribe button. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. But without further ado, let's get to pouring. Oh man, I've had a pour out of this bottle already. I tasted it at the store, and man, this is something for the books. This is a bottle that I will most likely go back for and get a second bottle of because of just how darn good it is. But enough of the jibber jabber. Let's get into the nose and let you guys know what a tornado barrel of bourbon smells like. Super rich. A very deep, thick, almost viscous vanilla comes off of the nose. It has a dry oak, and I'm getting a little touch of like a honey graham cracker off of there. A bunch of warm, sweet cinnamon rolls out of here, and a touch of a fruit. I don't think it's an apple. I think it's almost more of like a really sweet pear, but most likely one of those kinds of fruits. And there's a little bit of a minty aspect that comes off of this. Man, this nose is so complex. Like, I have so many other bottles of Blue Notes up there, and they're really good, but I don't think that they have the nose that this bottle right here has. This one you can dive into and find so many different nuances in this, and it is just absolutely spectacular. It's so sweet, it's opening up. And at 124 proof, I do want to put this bottle up against other big name bottles and see how it compares, specifically like a Stag Jr., the Bardstown, the Elijah Craigs and stuff like that, because it's so darn sweet off of the nose. And it just smells so thick and so viscous, and I cannot wait to get in the palate. So without further ado, let's get in the palate. The first thing that hits you is this rush of just absolute drying effect on your tongue. And first sip of the day, it's a little bit warm going down, but it's not hot. It's warm, and you get this creamy, viscous, velvety, rich mouthfeel that is just bonkers to me. Wow. Second sip, you are more acclimated to what that proof gave to you, and I am getting a ton of espresso ice cream with like a mocha caramel drizzle on top, coffee, dark chocolate, a dusting of a cinnamon on top with maybe a little bit of nutmeg. Really, really nice. It's almost like that this is I'm going to say an espresso martini in a glass, because this has so much coffee influence into it. It almost reminds me of like a coffee liqueur, like an espresso shot. It is really, really good. Like the nose doesn't like fully transfer into the palate. And when you go back in, you do find a little bit more of that mocha aspect to it. But more mocha and espresso and coffee on the palate than there is on the nose. It's a lot sweeter on the nose and a little bit more earthy, but it's a very nice, sweet, complex earthiness that comes through. And I mean, that thickness and that viscosity is almost like you're pouring honey in your mouth. It is one heck of a pour. And I love this stuff. I mean, this is barrel number 17878. This is hand selected from Bourbon Street Wine and Spirits at 124 proof. This was voted number 7 top 20 whiskeys of 2022 by Whiskey Advocate. I don't know if you guys follow Whiskey Advocate. I personally don't think that they know anything about what they're talking about. So that's my shot at Whiskey Advocate. But this is definitely a bottle that is findable again. I remember doing a video a couple weeks back saying that, you know, you couldn't find Blue Notes anywhere, and I know a couple of my local stores are getting picks in within the next couple of months. I know that Bourbon Street has done about 6 or 7 Blue Note picks, and these are starting to hit shelves again. And you know, you'll get a couple more of these Tornado Survivor barrels. I don't know how many more we're gonna have, and make sure you ask those questions at your liquor store. Is this a Tornado Surviving barrel? Can you find out for me? Because most of the time their distributor will let them know if they weren't told in the beginning if it was a Tornado Surviving barrel. And these are absolute must-gets. I mean, I got this bottle for 50 bucks. It is an absolute steal, and I would always highly recommend these Blue Notes, even if it's not a Tornado Surviving barrel. But if you can get a Tornado Surviving barrel, you are a winner chicken dinner in my humblest opinion. And I'm gonna go in one more time for this. This has been sitting here for way too long, and I cannot wait to get back into it. The finish is so long and so enjoyable. You get a little bit of heat that goes down your throat and into this area, but it's a very nice, enjoyable hug. It's nothing that is going to absolutely kill you. But it is just overwhelmingly sweet. After you get those really nice espresso notes that still linger on your tongue throughout the finish, but it rounds out to almost having this like almost cappuccino effect, right? You're getting that sweet milk with a little bit of a sweetener inside of there, a little sugar, dusting of the cinnamon on top, and you get that crema on top, right? You get a little bit of crema that has those nuances of the espresso, but it is the sweet cream with a little bit of sugar and that little bit of dusting of cinnamon on top. That is what that finish reminds me of, with those everlasting notes of the espresso, cinnamon, honey, a little bit of a mocha caramel drizzle, and this is out of this world. Again, guys, Tornado Surviving barrels, if you can get your hands on one, I highly recommend it. If you have one, again, let me know what barrel number you've got down in the comments below. But until next time, this has been Nathan with The Everyday Drinker. Cheers.